So, back front of the VGC guide, and this time we're looking at Hisui and Lilligant. Lilligant is one of my most hated Pokemon of all time. I am not a fan of the strategy of just spam Sleep Powder. It's a viable strategy, annoyingly, because it's incredibly inconsistent, but the expected amount of sleep turns you should get on average when you click Sleep Powder is 1.5. And that is in your favour, therefore it is objectively good to click Sleep Powder. It's just annoyingly frustrating to play against, which is really annoying. That's kind of the entire point, so you're going to be able to spam Sleep Powder super fast with Chlorophyll, but at least it does have the other thing of going for the after eruptions. We've seen it on Lilligant Torkoal in previous generations, we've seen it win a regional this season with the Unova version, so there's no reason why this one wouldn't be able to do it as well. Go for after eruption, you do loads of damage, you don't have to care about Torkoal's super slow speed. You also get to go for some actually very strong attacks in Solar Blade and close combat. So, the previous Lilligant, the Unova one, was only grass type, it would just go for Leaf Storm. And still, incredibly respectable damage. Solar Blade in close combat is going to be able to keep up with that, but it's also 2 stabs rather than 1 stab, so you get extra coverage on top of that. Heatran is now in the format, so you're going to be able to close combat a Heatran, whereas otherwise the Unova Lilligant Torkoal would have somewhat been walled. Like, you have to have Earth Power in your Torkoal and all that, but close combat is able to just hit it straight away, which is really nice. The speed is also a big buff for Hisui and Lilligant, 105 over 90, that is significant. That will allow Hisui and Lilligant to be able to lead without Torkoal much more justifiably than the Unova one, because you'll outspeed like Urshifus and Chi-Yus and like just multiple other things as well. Those are just some examples, like Landorus as well. You'll be able to outspeed with Hisui and Lilligant without the need for Chlorophyll. So you can run this without the sun if you do need to. It obviously wants to be in the sun because you want to activate your Solar Blades and your massive speed, but it can be run without it. Focus Sash is near mandatory on Hisui and Lilligant, in my opinion. It's not got the bulk nor the defensive typing for any other real item. Focus Sash is the way to go, in my opinion. And Terra Ghost is also going to be probably the best typing on Lilligant, because one of the strategies that players do go for to counter Lilligant Torkoal is Fake Out into the Lilligant to stop the Sleep Powders after use whatever, and then double up into it with another attack to pick up the KO. Terra Ghost would be able to stop the Fake Out, therefore you get an opportunity to just go for after you or Sleep Powder, and then you're basically sorted with that. Here are some other alternatives. This isn't a recommended moveset. These are just alternatives you can slot onto this moveset. It's going to be quite tricky too, because these 4 moves are so good. Solar Blade or Leaf Blade. That's basically just the debate there. You want to be in the sun, therefore Solar Blade is a good option because it will be way stronger than Leaf Blade will be. But when you're not in the sun, then Leaf Blade is going to be way more consistent. And like I mentioned, this can be out of the sun much more than the Unova one could be. Ice Spinner is good coverage into things like dragons and just getting rid of terrain. Worth mentioning. And I would probably only have Ice Spinner on the Life Orb version. So Life Orb is still going to be a justifiable item on Lilligant, because it may turn some KOs that the Focus Sash one wouldn't get into actual just straight up OKOs, because these are 120 and 125 base power. You'll be able to do a lot of damage with that as well. Encore is a good move on something so fast, so that you can lock whatever you want into whatever you want. So Encore is going to be a good move there. And Protect, so you can go for a Protect on a Fake Out and not have to use up your Terra Ghost or your Terra to turn into a Ghost to stop that Fake Out. So that is worth considering as well. But being able to slot any of these moves onto this moveset is going to be quite tricky, because kind of the whole point in Lilligant is going for after use with the speed control. It's pretty much going for super fast Leap Powders so you can just stop them moving. So being able to put these moves on is going to be quite tricky. These are still very good moves, but this is still a very good moveset, except for this move. Hate this move.